The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. It's 6:03, 54 degrees. Going to be, I think, 77 in some parts of Chicago today. 77. That's nice.
Tastes like tequila. You know what I mean?
It tastes like tequila?
Yeah.
Just when it's, when it's
That's
that warm?
the flavor that comes into my mouth when it gets warm.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I can't drink tequila anymore. I've had an incident.
What was your incident?
Vomiting for a long time. But it's
Well,
not.
that'll do her.
I mean, it also was old. I think I've told this story before. It was a bottle of El Toro tequila, which is like $1.98 a bottle with a red sombrero as the opener on it.
Well, that's just fun.
It's fun, but it's not the best tequila brand.
Yeah.
And I drank a bottle of it by myself.
With a mix or anything?
No,
Wow.
just drank a bottle of tequila.
Some gasoline.
Just feeling it one day, and I did that, and I paid for it. It was trust me, it was a fabulous night.
Yeah.
It was great.
Not a great follow-up act, though?
Not so great. I was actually in college, and you go to the cafeteria the next day, and they have tuna melts and stuff in the cafeteria. That didn't help either.
Oh.
It was a bad experience.
I can't imagine you in college.
Happened.
The whole time?
I graduated in 4 years exactly. Making the dean's list a couple times. And now I was working full time too. I started in the whole radio thing in about 19. So I was driving overnights to go work overnights at radio stations at a city a half hour away in Toledo, Ohio when I was at Bowling Green State University. And I'd go back, I'd pull all-nighters, go to class. Sometimes I would sleep every other day, like 48 hours up, and then I can't believe I did that.
You're like a firefighter.
Oh, man.
You certainly make up for it now as you take 4-hour naps.
That damn straight. When there's time to go down, I go down. I'm out. Don't bother
You
me.
don't get back up.
That's okay. That's okay. I earned it after many years of that. Overnights and tequila.
Hard worker,
That's
obviously.
right. Yeah. I mean, I think everybody's got that drink that maybe people do have a drink
I
you
can't
can't
have
do.
vodka.
Really? See, I love vodka.
I got so drunk on vodka, Uber had just started to become a thing, but it wasn't really yet. So not even everyone had that app, you know? And I just got into a stranger's car.
Oh.
I was like, all right, this must be my ride.
That's not. And you went like, yeah, it's for Kenzie. And they went, yup.
They were just like, maybe you're in the wrong car because it was an elderly woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what she was doing down there at that time.
2 a.m. at
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a club you were at that time at 2 a.m.
I was at a club, I swear to God, when this happened, called Gay 90s.
Sounds like a good time.
It was awesome. It was a great place.
But because of that night, you can't do vodka anymore.
I can't do it. No, I can't. I don't even like the smell of it. It bothers me.
Case, what about you?
Sometimes orange Fanta hurts my tummy.
Is that right?
Yeah, sometimes it gets to me.
But tell us the incident that caused that.
Oh, yeah, I was just chugging and chugging and chugging one day, and I realized I went too far when my tongue was stained orange and my lips were stained orange, and then my stomach started to hurt.
Wow.
It was like an M&M
Yeah.
or Donald Trump.
Looking pretty orange there.
Were you like a family barbecue?
I know I was alone. That's the problem. I drink alone.
Oh, like George Thorogood? Yeah. I just picture Case just getting that on sale. Just keep drinking it. This is a great price. I'm going to drink it all in one. I'm going to space this out, have it for weeks, and you just drink it all in one sitting.
I don't have the ability to space food out.
Yeah.
There's people that nibble on a Snickers bar or a Three Musketeers all day long. I can't do that. I shove it right in my mouth.
Well, that's good.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Oh. All right, coming up, we have your chance to go see Sum 41 in Paris. Right about 6:17. Let's say about 10 minutes away. Stay here.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for a fact that makes your brain go. And today is an anniversary 138 years ago. So we're going back to 1886, which Case the producer has said nothing good happened in the 1800s. It must have been a miserable time to live.
They had nothing going on.
Oh, I correct you on this one, sir. Because in 1886, there was something created that not only was it a big deal back then, it's a bigger deal today. In fact, it affects 38 million of us today. 38 million of us today use this every day.
I would argue there was plenty of stuff going on. I just looked up major events in the 1800s.
Okay, go ahead.
Louisiana Purchase, big one.
What does it say exactly what it is so our listeners know what you're talking about, the Louisiana Purchase? I believe we bought Louisiana from the French or the Indians?
The Louisiana Purchase was the acquisition of the territory of Louisiana by the United States from the French First Republic.
Got it, from French. That's what I thought. Where Sum 41's playing in French.
Hamilton was killed. Aaron Burr killed Hamilton, which sparked an incredible musical. So that's huge.
Also, a couple of badasses. I mean, because those guys got in a fight and they go, let's go outside and do a duel.
Yeah.
And then they did, and one guy died.
I know.
I mean,
I
That's
feel
how
like
they handled it.
They should have better de-escalation skills.
yeah.
I think we should go back to this. Like, let's just handle it.
Well, you know how many people...
That way, we never have to deal with each other even after this is over. You know, I think that's a good tag. Less angry people in the world.
I mean, you might argue there's a lot of duels going on in Chicago on a daily basis. There's some people don't know they're in it. You know, there's just some shots going on.
That's a different problem.
Yeah.
Also, first railroad system.
Oh, that's big.
We got to scooting and booting.
I love trains. That's huge.
I know you love trains. Sorry.
How do you know he loves trains?
This is weekend activity. Lewis and Clark went on their big little expo.
That was incredible.
I mean, there's a lot that happened.
But they're like it's not like Lewis and Clark were the Beatles. They didn't have fanfare. They just went out and did that. You know what I mean?
Well,
what
those
about all
things.
the other people?
So you're saying if it didn't exist on Twitter, it didn't happen?
Well, yeah, amen, brother. I'm just saying there wasn't a lot to do. They didn't have baseball till like the end of the century.
The Battle of Tippecanoe? Tippecanoe?
Tippecanoe. There's a good song about that.
What's the song?
I think Linkin Park did it. I can't remember.
They did not.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
All right, time for that fact that makes your brain go. It was about the 1800s, something that was created in 1886 that we use today more than ever. And that is 138 years ago today. Okay?
Yes.
1886, Dr. John Pemberton came up with the secret formula for Coca-Cola.
Oh, period. Love it.
For Coca-Cola. Now, 38 million gallons are consumed today. Some of that's mine. I go Coke Zero, though. I'll take a Coke any day of the week. A McDonald's Coke, you know, with the fountain, the way they...
It just hits different.
Totally hits different. The cold filtered they do. But, or a 7-Eleven. I love a 7-Eleven Coke. Oh, my God. You know why?
Why?
Because I'm in control of how much goes in that cup. I will put it in there, and I'll take a nice little inch sip, which is really a gulp,
So
a couple
you're a
gulps.
dirty thief.
A little bit. And then I'll put it back in. Or it's foam. You know, I like to get the foam out of there, and I fill it totally to the syrup all the way to the top, the Coke syrup, the Coca-Cola.
You should be in prison.
Well, there's probably a line of people before me on that.
Nope.
On that theft. Nope,
I don't
that's
think
it.
so.
That's it. Come on, everybody else out there with me? Who does that?
No.
Who kind of takes a little bit extra
You're a
there?
bad person.
I mean, listen, it isn't costing them that much, I don't think. And I always look and make sure they're like selling a lottery ticket for a second while I'm taking my sip so they don't see me.
I promise you, the person running the cash register doesn't care. As somebody who's worked in that position before, I'm like, that's none of my business. I'm not getting involved.
Yeah.
I don't own this place.
So this guy invented it. The product was given the world its best known taste. It was in Atlanta, Georgia, and it was a pharmacist who created it. He carried a jug of the new product down the street to another pharmacy where it was sampled and pronounced excellent and placed on sale for 5 cents a glass as a soda fountain drink.
Oh.
And then
I miss old prices. That's what the 1800s had going for them. What a bargain.
do you remember a nickel for a Coke anytime? A nickel for a Coke.
No, I wasn't alive in 1886, so I don't recall.
Could be a time traveler as far as I know. So he did this and he it changed lives, I think. And listen, I am a Coke guy over Pepsi. I think you are too, Kenzie, right?
I am.
In
Especially
case-
because of that jet. F Pepsi. Unless they want to endorse me.
Wait, what was the jet? The jet they allegedly
They
were going
owe
to give
that
away.
guy a jet.
Yeah, they owe the guy a jet from that documentary.
Yeah. That upsets me.
I grew up in a Pepsi family.
Oh.
I did too. My dad loved Pepsi.
Oh, but you chinged.
I changed.
Wow, I did
don't
not.
believe your dad loved Pepsi.
He did.
I don't buy it.
He did. He
Hard
did.
workers love Coke.
Well, he was a hard worker.
The Pepsi's for the soft generation.
Well, he liked Miller High Life.
Well, who didn't?
Yeah.
You know.
He wouldn't blend them, but I'm saying he'd drink a Miller High Life when he got home, then later in the night he drank a Pepsi.
I have a question about Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Yes.
As it relates to, what was this guy's name? Dr. Pemberton?
Dr. John Pemberton.
Pemberton, okay.
Sounds more like Pepsi.
Kind of does.
Sounds like he invented Pepsi.
Yeah.
Is he the guy that put cocaine in Coca-Cola? Was that his secret ingredient? Because I'm not making that up, right? That Coke was Coke for the longest time.
I gotta try to get this in my head because I can't remember if that's urban legend or it was real.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, thanks, Kenzie.
I'm on
Because
it.
there was. Now,
That might be a total Mandela effect. I might just be lying about that.
I agree.
I've heard that.
I went to Costco 2 days ago, and they have the Mexican Coke for sale in the cases.
yeah.
Now, that's light Coke.
Oh, my
in
God.
Coke.
I can't believe we
That's-
haven't regulated that.
Mexican Coca-Cola is it.
They have real
Like,
cane.
it is it.
It's the real cane sugar in there. Ooh. And they have the glass bottles, too. The glass bottle of Coke.
Feels so good. On a summer night, drinking one of those, forget
Yeah,
it.
forget about it. All right, Kenzie, what do you got with cocaine?
Okay. So, yeah, the drink was invented. This is in 1885, so get your stuff together.
It says 1886.
Well, this one doesn't. A pharmacist from Atlanta, Georgia made the original recipe. It contained cocaine in the form of an extract of the coca leaf, that's where the word cola comes from.
Yep.
Coca-Cola. It's the name of the leaf.
Okay.
And when Coca-Cola was invented, cocaine was legal and a common ingredient in medicines.
Woo!
The good old days.
Not only a nickel
Not
for
all
a
this
Coke.
weak crap.
Yeah.
That's why I don't feel good.
Can you
Need a
ma-
little cocaine.
Yeah, can you imagine having a cold and go like, you want NyQuil? No, I want cocaine.
Yeah.
Where's that at? It's
I would kick its ass.
Yeah.
That's why it takes me 5 days to get over it.
you got it behind the counter, don't you? Give me the cocaine.
Yeah, I would like the real medicine. Thank you.
I've heard cocaine does wonders for a sinus infection. Give me that stuff.
Oh, my God. The way it would clear it out,
Hell
forget
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now we're stuck with what?
Yeah.
Not even the good Sudafed. They took away good Sudafed and cocaine.
Well, you can still ask for the good Sudafed, but you got to then show your ID. In the aisle, you get the bad Sudafed.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it goes left for me. They're like, can I have your ID? I'm like, uh-oh. You're not going to give it to me? Please don't look anything up. when you
running a background check on you for
don't,
Sudafed?
like, Google me, though. You know?
Let's see. Also, an officer just comes out from behind the pharmacy aisle there and arrests you on site.
Damn it. I just wanted Sudafed.
Yeah, damn it.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian Kenzie on Q101. And before we move on to some big news involving the Boy Scouts today, Dodger Boy checked in. We talked about the Coke being a nickel back in 1886. This guy, one of our listeners, Dodger Boy, he always has a fact.
Can I clarify something you just said?
What's that?
It sounded like you said Nickelback, like we were talking about the band. You said that Coke cost a nickel back
In 1886.
You're like,
Yeah.
it sounded like you were like listing a new song from Nickelback or
And
something.
it'd be great if we had a new song from Nickelback. I'd play it right now. We
Me
just don't
too.
have. We don't have a new one.
Rock.
Not there yet. But he reminded us that the average worker earned a dime a day back then, and they were 12 years old too. They started working at.
Amen. No one wants to work anymore.
But they also made a dime a day. So if a nickel was for a Coke and you drank one a day, it's
Can
half
I
your
ask
half your
something?
day's pay right there.
Is it bad? Is it bad for someone 12 to work? Because I had a paper route, a daily paper route that took a few hours. It was a big one. And I started that when I was 10.
Yep.
And I also started babysitting when I was 10, which blows my mind because Tristan's almost 10. And I'm not even sure, like, he should be around his brother sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
let alone watching him if I was out of the house. It's like, okay, I can't even leave you guys in a room together. So, did you work at a young... I worked for
So,
sure before that.
I shoveled
character.
driveways and mowed lawns. So summer mowed lawns, winter, and I was probably 10 as well. And I didn't get an allowance. I know people got allowances.
I never got... I was allowed to live at my parents' house.
Yeah. Case, did you get an allowance? I bet you're going to say yes to
I
this.
got an allowance.
I knew it. I knew it.
Pepsi got an allowance. What a loser.
Now, how did that work, your allowance?
I got handed cold hard cash once a week.
Once a week.
For what?
Just hanging out, bringing good vibes to the house.
Like, you didn't even, like, what did you need the money for? You adamantly bring up that you had no friends to go do anything with. What'd you use your money on?
Oh my God, that hurt my feelings.
But you say it all the time.
Oh, God.
What do you need money for?
Oh,
You're in
boy.
the house. was already food.
Baseball cards or something.
Oh, jeez.
So I want to know, like, was there a time on, like, let's say it was Friday at 5, you knew mom or dad was coming to you with a 20?
Yeah,
I don't know.
With a 20.
It was a 20.
I'm going to throw up.
I know.
I like the Monopoly, man. I'm trolling my mustache and coming to collect.
Oh, my God. Pass go once a week?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Kenzie, I have a question about your paper route.
Yeah.
What time of the day did you do it? Weren't you in school?
It was an evening paper out. So once I got home from school, rode the bus home. Parents were there, which is like also mind blowing to me. Like I'd get home, I was like 7, no one's there. Anyways, yeah, I'd get home and then what they do is there's also a guy who delivers the paper to people who deliver papers.
Right.
So that's a fun fact. I didn't have to go get them. So there's a guy who drops off papers at anybody who has a paper out's house. So once I'd get home from school, there'd be like, I don't know, 1,000 newspapers on our driveway.
Do you know how hard, by the way, it is to explain what he does for a living?
I know.
He's like,
I deliver paper to people who deliver paper.
I deliver papers. Oh, you have a paper route. No, actually, so what you see, it's like the eBay store in 40-year-old
Totally.
version. It's like,
100%.
why can't you just deliver the papers?
So I'd have to get home. There'd be like 1,000 newspapers, all zip tied. I'd have to cut them open, also with a knife. Like I don't know why I had that. I had to roll all of them individually. I couldn't ride a bike, so I had to walk the paper out with this huge sack of like 1,000 papers.
You couldn't ride a bike because you didn't know how to ride a bike, or because there were too many papers?
I don't know how. I don't do wheels really as a whole. I'm not good at anything with wheels.
There's a lot of things we're learning here.
Interesting.
First
So
off, the
I
paper
walked,
route.
yeah.
And then, of course, you walked to deliver the papers.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I would spend a few hours after school working, and then I'd get home to a home cooked meal from my mom. I was like a man. I was like, oh, I hope dinner's on the table when I get home.
I pictured you walking in for some reason, like taking your guns off and hanging them on a hook.
That's all it felt.
Like in the old West, and you kicked your spoots with spurs on them.
Tribune bag.
Yeah.
And then I'd get dinner, and then I'd do homework, and I'd go to bed. This is my childhood.
Yep.
This is it.
Case had Friday looking forward to it no matter what happened during the week and said, like, hey, where's my 20 at, Dad?
And can I please throw in one more detail? Is that this was in Minnesota, and when it snowed, my dad would drive me, okay? But around Christmas time, people would tip their newspaper people, right? So my dad would take half my tips because he said he drove me in the winter. How messed up. Not only did I not get an allowance, I had to pay out my dad for helping me during snowstorms.
Each time you speak about your father, I respect him more.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That is a great take.
He's like, well, you have to pay, I'm doing something for you to pay for the service.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this sucks.
He's like,
So
your
sometimes
dad
I
was
would-
like Tony Soprano. You got to kick up.
Unbelievable.
You know what I mean?
So sometimes it was like a horrible snowstorm, and I'd be like, I don't want my dad to drive me because I don't want to pay out the service.
So meanwhile, you're walking in 4 feet of snow in Minnesota
I just put myself in danger instead.
to deliver the Minnesota Times.
Well, I needed the money. I had to pay for stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't get an allowance.
That's right.
Case.
I'm
But
sorry.
I'm sure you deserved it.
I'm sorry my parents loved me. I know that's a crime here. I'm sorry.
Just because they bought you off doesn't mean they loved you.
They just didn't want you around.
Okay, that's good for Case. You ever seen a Bronx Tale where he owes the kid $20?
I actually have seen a Bronx Tale.
Oh my
yes.
God, you've seen a Bronx Tale?
I know.
Jeez. So in the scene when he wants to get the money back and the mob boss goes, this guy's taking me for a schmuck, you know? He won't give me the $20 he owes me. He goes, do you like the guy? He goes, no. He goes, well, there you go. You got him out of your life for $20.
Wow.
So your parents got you out of their life for $20 a week.
I know, because he's always at the house, no friends. Like, go do something.
Isn't it Mental Health Awareness Month? We're really dumping on Case hard this
Oh,
morning.
what else is new?
Hey, we're not dumping on him. These are just all things he's told us, and we're reiterating them.
So it's our reaction
It's just a bounce back.
to facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious how many of our listeners got an allowance, though. I'm not hating on it. I'm jealous. I wish I got an allowance.
I'm hating on it. You
I'm
guys
not.
suck.
I would love to have an
You had an
allowance. An
allowance?
allowance would have been amazing. I wish I had
you know,
one.
back in your day, everybody drank from the hose and they played barefoot in the yard and they didn't get an allowance and Coke cost a nickel. I got it.
You know how dangerous it was as a young girl to deliver papers by foot? I had a stalker.
There's no need to brag, Kenzie. Not all of us were
I
good
got
looking enough to have a
stalker.
stalker.
It was incredibly dangerous, the entire experience.
Okay, so a serial killer followed you delivering papers. Got
I
it.
swear to God, there was this guy, and he asked me creepy things all the time. And then he showed up at my house one day with a purse for me.
Well, that's very nice.
And I was like, I don't know how you know where I live.
What's wrong with that?
And then I started bringing our dog on the paper out. Took one more chore off my parents' plate, but I started bringing the dog on the paper out. And he asked me if the dog would protect me if something bad happened. And I'm like, I don't think this is a good sign.
No. It's a little...
And I said he ordered the paper, so I had to go to his house every day.
Yuck.
I couldn't avoid it.
Is little Yorkie named Muffin going to stop you if something bad happens?
It's not good.
All right, listen, we're about 8 minutes away from your shot to go to Q101 Fest, the Minnesota Yacht Festival, the same town where Kenzie delivered newspapers with a serial killer following her. But this is
What a
good.
life.
That's all over now. Now we've got Offspring, Chili Peppers, Gwen Stefani, Alanis Morissette. 7 a.m. We'll have your chance to get there, plus get to Riot Fest. First, it's Gil Curtis with your headlines.
This is not headline news. Stormy Daniels took to the witness stand yesterday. When told she'd be under oath, she said, over, under, doesn't matter to me, bring them on out. Today is National Night Shift Workers Day, so I'll bring your wife a box of chocolates tonight. Vince Neil face planted during a Motley Crue show. He'll be just fine, said the band's doctor. Feel good. And due to a plague of knife crime, the Swiss Army knife will now come in a variant without a blade. It'll be called the Swiss Army Bottle Opener. So back off, Jack. This is not headline news.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We're just 4 minutes away from your chance to go to the Minnesota Yacht Club Festival with the Offspring, Chili Peppers, Gwen Stefani, Alanis Morissette, and tons more. It's very easy. Just be here. We'll have it for you. Now, we were talking about allowances. We got on that angle for a minute. Who had an allowance? And we found out Case the producer had an allowance, $20 a week, 5 o'clock Friday. He got that every week, where me and Kenzie never had an allowance. We had to work for that money. If you want to go out, do something, work for that money.
It's like what he does here. He just kicks back and collects a paycheck.
Yep.
Well, Brian and I do all the work.
That's all he does. He's sitting back there.
He looks so mad right now. He looks so angry.
But Brandon had a good take. Brandon checking in from Portage wanted to jump in on the conversation. Brandon, ahoy, what's up?
Ahoy. So back in the late 90s when I was a teenager, I used to get an allowance for doing chores. And I didn't like doing my chores, so I convinced my mom to do them. And I'd give her half my allowance, and she would take care of the dishes and laundry and all that. And basically all I had to do was mow the lawn, which I never ended up having to do because my dad didn't like the way I mowed the lawn. So he ended up mowing the lawn. My mom did all my chores inside the house. I ended up with $10 a week for absolutely nothing.
What?
So you're an entrepreneur.
You got to know how to work the system, Kenzie. See, you should have had your dad paying you.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Put a crowbar in his wallet there. Yeah.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.